Hi everyone, welcome back to the History of Football channel. Today on the channel I'll be doing another football stadium, a former football ground. I did a poll recently asking what video you want me to do next, and everyone pretty much voted for an old football ground that no longer exists. Today's video is going to be about the Meer Stadion, the former home ground of AFC Ajax. Ajax were founded in 1900. Their original home ground was the Het Houten or Het Houten Stadion. However, this ground was beginning to become too small for the club as burgeoning attendances happened in the early days of the club's history. The new stadium was designed by architect Don Rudenberg, and the opening game at the Meer Stadion happened on December 9, 1934 against Stade Francais, where Ajax won 5-1. Although the Meer Stadion was the home of Ajax, when it came to big European football matches such as the European Cup and other games such as the Klassiker against Feyenoord, matches would be moved to the Olympic Stadium in Amsterdam rather than being played at the Meer Stadion. The stadium had a capacity of 22,000 when it was opened. However, it was increased to a maximum of 29,500. In the 1980s, due to safety concerns, it was reduced to 19,500. Another reason why Ajax chose to move their big European matches to the Olympic Stadium was that the Meer Stadion did not have floodlights installed until 1971, which was quite later than most other clubs had their floodlights installed. The stadium hosted 2 K&V Cup finals, which is the Dutch Cup, in 1967 and 1986. Both of these featured Ajax, and the stadium hosted 5 international matches for the Dutch national side. Ajax's record at the stadium was quite imposing. They played 953 matches there in total. They won 742 of those and 120 were drawn. They only lost 91 times at the ground in nearly 7 years of history that they played there. In the late 80s and early 90s, relocation was talked at the Ajax club because of increasing safety concerns with the Meer Stadion. In particular, an incident which happened in September 1989 where 2 fragmentation bombs were thrown into the crowd during a match against Feyenoord. There were talks that Ajax would move into the Olympic Stadium on a permanent basis. However, these talks broke down, and also there was talks about renovating the Meer Stadion. However, the club opted for a new site. The last match to be played at the Meer was on the 28th of April 1996 against Willem. This match would end in a 5-1 victory to Ajax. Finidi George, who played for Ajax, scored a hat-trick, and the final goal to be scored at the ground was by Willem player Jack de Greer. This match also ended with Ajax winning the Dutch Championship, and they were able to celebrate the victory in front of their home fans one last time at the Meer. In 1996, Ajax moved to the purpose-built Amsterdam Arena, or as it's known now, the Johan Cruyff Arena. This cost the club €140 million, and the capacity at the Amsterdam Arena is 56,120, and it certainly is a very impressive stadium. And obviously Ajax had to leave the Meer and go to a more purpose-built football stadium with a bigger attendance. The Meer Stadium was demolished in the late 1990s, and between 1998 and 2002 a new residential park called Park de Meer was built with approximately 900 homes on the former site. And like with some other clubs, they've named streets and bridges after former players and former triumphs in the club's history. So that concludes my video on the Meer Stadion, the home ground of AFC Ajax between 1934 and 1996. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Obviously, Ajax had to leave this stadium. They're the biggest club in the Netherlands, and I think that this stadium was a bit dilapidated, a bit too small for the club's ambitions, and they needed to move to a purpose-built football ground with a big attendance like the Amsterdam Arena. And obviously this is a stadium that has a lot of good memories for supporters of Ajax. And if you're from overseas and you're not from the Netherlands and you went to this stadium, let me know in the comment section below your memories of the ground. And thanks to everyone that voted on the poll the other day for the video that they wanted to see, and I thought I'd do something a bit different. Normally I do English stadiums, but this one is the stadium in the Netherlands. So thanks to everyone that subscribed to the channel recently and continues to watch the videos, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Tatty bye for now.